Alright, this is the 3-year review of my CRF250L. In 3 years I've only had one mechanical issue with this bike, and that is that when it was brand new, no miles on it, just out of the crate, it started a little hard. I think the reason for that is because it had air in the fuel lines, because it was just out of the crate. So the first and second time I rode it, onto the truck and then from the truck to my garage, it started really hard. I turned the key on and off a few times to prime the fuel pump, and then it would take off. But the third time I rode it, that didn't happen, and it just took right off, and it's been fine ever since. Out of the 9,000 miles I've got on this bike, I've done probably 1,000 to 1,500 miles of commuting back and forth to work. And the rest of it has been me being very mean to this bike. I beat on this thing. I am not kind to it. You can see in my other videos, I've taken it to hare scrambles. I've taken it across South Dakota a couple of times. I've crashed this thing a bunch of times, crashed it left and right and flipped over backwards, and it just takes it. The return trip from those dual sport adventures in South Dakota, I rode this thing, 3/4 to full throttle the whole way across South Dakota back home. It get about 215 degrees or so, but it just took it. It hasn't been hurt. I change the oil every 2,000 miles, and I haven't seen any metal in the oil. The first oil change I did, but you're breaking the engine in. It's a little underpowered, but that kind of lends it to being stronger in the long run because you're not putting a ton of stress on components. If you put a bunch of power into these engines and you stress all the components, well, stuff's going to start breaking eventually. I haven't done a big bore because this factory engine takes me everywhere I want to go. I'm not going to run this thing in motocross or anything, so I don't really need that much power. There's guys online that say, oh, I need more power to wheelie, or I need more power to get through the trails and everything. Well, not really. It'll get through it just fine. It's just how fast you want to do it. And if you're really going to be riding that hard, maybe you should probably get an actual trail bike or a motocross bike. It's great to be able to ride to the trail, ride the trail and ride home, but if you're going to be going at it at an extreme level, you kind of need an extreme bike. This is not an extreme bike. For me, it takes me everywhere I want to go. It's gone to work on trails, off-road parks, across states, through rivers. It's a great bike. I love it. If I had to get rid of all my bikes but one, I'd keep this one, honestly, because of where it can take me and what I've done on it. And also the fact riding a dual sport bike will make you a better overall rider. Because I ride a lot of street too, but since I got this bike, I learned a lot more balance and how to slide around corners and weighting the pegs and preloading suspension, and I've learned a lot of that. And I used to ride four-wheelers all the time when I was younger, but dirt bikes are a little bit different animal. But I've learned a lot more skills riding this dual sport than I ever did on street bikes. So it's a great bike overall. It'll do anything you want it to. So if you're considering getting one, yeah, go ahead. It'll take you to work. It'll take you on vacation. It'll take you through the ditches and fields. It's a great bike. The only issue I've had in 9,000 miles was when it was brand new, and that issue went away and never came back. If you're interested in all the mods I've done in 3 years, that'll be a different video coming up soon. But as for the bike itself, I don't have any complaints. It's great. If I had this bike and it was completely stock, I'd still be okay with it. I probably wouldn't ride it as much, but I still wouldn't have any complaints if it was all factory. So if you have any questions about the bike or concerns about it or anything like that, you can just ask me in the comment section below, or Adventure Rider has a pretty good thread on it too. I go by Lap Chick on the forum. Actually got the license plate for that because it's Black Kawasaki Gumball Rally for those of you who like car movies. But yeah, I mean, you know, you can ask me on Facebook too if you want, or that email. I'm happy to answer questions if I'm able to, and if not, I'll look it up in my service manual or refer you to someone who might know. But yeah, that's the bike review for 3 years. I'm not going to do another one because nothing's really going to change except the mileage count. But yeah, again, the modification video will be coming up soon. Thanks for watching.